This is the AI News Flash for August 26th, 12 p.m. UTC. First up, a Reuters investigation reports that Mark Zuckerberg's bold plan to replace Meta staff with AI has imploded from the inside. The initiative was called Project OT, short for Organization Transformation, and it was developed at Zuckerberg's leadership retreat in Hawaii this January. The goal was to make Meta an AI-native company, with AI handling most of the work while small human teams supervised virtual workers. Some teams explored cuts of up to 60%. Meta executed a 10% workforce reduction in May, but a planned second wave in November was canceled. The reasons were employee resistance and disappointing results. Staff feared they were training their own replacements through keystroke tracking software. Infrastructure-related changes rose 220% year over year, while user-facing features rose only 36%. AI-related incidents jumped 40%, time spent firefighting rose 70%, and favorable employee sentiment fell from 74% to 55%. Zuckerberg promised stability, paused employee monitoring, allowed reassignments, and told staff he does not expect other company-wide layoffs this year. He also acknowledged that AI agents had not accelerated as anticipated. Meta confirmed the initiative, but stressed that not all scenarios would be implemented. Second, AI inference chip startup D-Matrix used Hot Chips 2026 to show a design that stacks its AI accelerator directly on top of custom DRAM. A compute die built on TSMC's 4-nanometer process is bonded face-to-face onto a custom-designed DRAM die at a 36-micron pitch, delivering 100 terabytes per second of bandwidth per card. The company calls the approach 3 DIMPs. It reaches 20 terabytes per second per stack, which is 10 times what HBM4 can achieve. Power efficiency is also about 10 times better, at 0.3 to 0.4 picojoules per bit, against 3 to 4 picojoules for HBM configurations. After validation on a test chip called Pavehawk that arrived last August, the technology goes into the second-generation accelerator named Raptor. The previous generation, Corsair, offered 2 gigabytes per card and scaled to 128 gigabytes in a rack. Production begins in the tightest DRAM market in more than a decade, with memory bandwidth now the main bottleneck for AI inference. A vertical answer that does not depend on HBM has arrived as real silicon. Third, Chinese AI firm MiniMax posted first half 2026 results, with revenue surging 283% year-on-year to $116.6 million. The driver was the enterprise business. Revenue from its open platform and other enterprise AI services jumped more than 703% to $73.9 million, lifting that segment from 30.3% of total revenue a year earlier to 63.4%. Revenue from other AI native products also doubled. Still, growth is off pace to meet full-year analyst forecasts, with the first half accounting for roughly 32% of the annual outlook. Total loss narrowed 11% to $358 million, but adjusted net loss expanded 111.2% to $293 million. JP Morgan analysts wrote that M3, the company's latest model launched in June, has yet to establish a clear advantage on either capability or cost performance, leaving it vulnerable to stronger models at one end and DeepSeek's aggressive economics at the other. MiniMax and Zhipu AI, China's first 2 publicly traded large language model developers, soared after January IPOs, but MiniMax has fallen about 77% from its March high of 1,330 Hong Kong dollars. Founder and chief executive Yan Junji has pledged to forego his salary until the company achieves artificial general intelligence. Fourth, Anthropic will add text watermarks to the output of future Claude models. The change is driven by the EU AI Act, but it will launch globally because the company currently lacks a reliable way to restrict it by region. The method is based on Google DeepMind's SynthID text. It alters the source of randomness used when the model chooses between equally suitable words, embedding a pattern in the sequence of words the model selects. There are no visible marks and no hidden characters, and only someone with the appropriate key can test whether a passage matches the signature. Internal testing found no measurable effect on output quality, creativity, or readability, and DeepMind research showed no statistically significant difference in user ratings between watermarked and unwatermarked output. The limits are stated plainly. It cannot distinguish Claude written text from human written text. It is less effective on short samples, and it is unreliable for factual writing code and proofreading where wording is constrained. It carries no user, organization, or chat identifying data. Anthropic plans a watermark detection API will apply the policy to older Claude models during a transition period and expects rollout over the coming months. Finally, at the second World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing, the Chinese robot Tiangong Ultra ran 100 meters in 8.86 seconds. That beats Usain Bolt's 9.58-second men's world record from 2009 by more than 0.7 of a second. At last year's inaugural games, Tiangong covered the same distance in 21.50 seconds, so the improvement in a single year is dramatic. The robot was developed by the Beijing Humanoid Robot Innovation Center, whose shareholders include state-owned enterprises as well as Baidu and Xiaomi's robotics division. The center says Tiangong has now beaten 4 human world records, running 400 meters in 38.15 seconds, 1,500 meters in 2 minutes, 21.64 seconds, and clearing 2.88 meters in the high jump. More than 2,000 robots from 666 teams competed across 51 events. As one engineer put it, seeing it rush past you during training is completely different, and you realize how impressive it is. That's all for this AI news flash.